Hello viewers, welcome to the legal vlog. My name is Naiza Barbara and tonight we are continuing with our discussion about how to make a valid will. Last time we talked about who can make a valid will, and tonight we are talking about who are the beneficiaries under the will. Who are those people who must not miss in your will when you're making a will, so that your will can be valid. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly go subscribe, like and comment. So let's start with a discussion. So one of the people who must not miss in your will are your children. So before the amendment of the Succession Act, we had the terms as we had two terms: legitimate and illegitimate children. Legitimate referred to those children who are born in marriage, and illegitimate, it referred to those children who were born out of the wedlock. Yes, but according to the new amendment, or according to the amendment of the Succession Act, we have only one term which refers to children or to a child. We no longer use the term legitimate or illegitimate. Whether your children were born out of marriage or in marriage, they are all termed as children. So we have the first group is the children, and by children we also include your adopted children, because as we said in our adoption video, if you haven't watched it, kindly go watch it. But we said that when you adopt a child, that child becomes your child, and the child is termed as your own child. That means that he or she can benefit from your estate. So when you're making a will, please don't leave out your children and adopted children. Yes. So the next group of people is the wife, is the spouse. So is the wife or your husband, to be put it straight, wife or your husband. The moment you people are married, by marriage I mean legal marriage. I don't mean cohabiting situation. I mean legal marriage. So when you're married, you must provide for your partner. Before the amendment of the Succession Act, it was only the man who was supposed to provide or to include his wife in the will, and the wife was at liberty to either include the man in her will or not. But according to the amendment of the Succession Act, every partner must include his or her partner in the will. Legal partner, I mean when you people are legally married. Last time we said that we have different kinds of marriages accepted in Uganda. We have customary, we have church, we have civil, we have Mohammedan and Hindu marriage. So if you celebrated one of the 5 types of marriages in Uganda, you must provide for your spouse, man or woman, when you're in a legal marriage. So the moment you miss out one, the moment you leave out your child, or the moment you leave out your legal spouse, then your will be challenged in court, and your estates will be managed according to the Succession Act, or like someone who did not leave out a will. So the next party, or the next person who must not be left out under the will, is the dependent relatives. So the law defines a dependent relative to include a parent, mother, or a sister, grandparent, a child, grandchild, who on the date of death of the deceased was wholly or substantially depending on the deceased for the provision of ordinary necessaries of life, suitable to a person of his or her station. So if you have a relative and that person wholly or substantially depends on you, like if you are not around, it is more probable than not that this person's life is going to be in danger, or this person's ways of living are going to deteriorate. This person is going to die because he or she does not have any means of survival. It was you who was providing for that person, for that relative. Then your relative must be included in the will. That person is referred to as a dependent relative. So if that person is not included in the will, your will be challenged in court, and that person will be provided for by court. So when we look at the law says that where a person by will disposes of all his property without making reasonable provisions for the maintenance of the dependent relative, then Section 38 of the Succession Act will apply. So when we look at that section, it says that court has power to order payment out of the estate of the deceased for maintenance of the dependents if there was no reasonable provision in the will. So if you've not provided for your dependent relatives, then court will make sure that they benefit from your estate because it was you who was taking care of them. So hope you've gotten the whole discussion that if you want to make a valid will, these people must be included. We have the children, we've said children, your spouse, dependent relatives. Yes, your dependent relatives. So other people, remember, when you're making a will, it's your will. You get, it's something which you want to do or something which your heart says, I must do this. But the law gives us a guideline on how to do it. So after providing for your spouse, your children, dependent relatives, you're at free will to include other people in your will. You're at free will to say, I'm giving, after providing for the other people we've talked about, you're at free will to say that I'm going to give this portion of land to the church, or I'm going to give this property to this and this institute. I'm going to give this piece of land to my friend because he or she did this and this. But after providing for the categories of people we have talked about. Thank you for watching. We are coming back with our next video still about making wills. Let us finalize with this topic. Don't get tired of commenting, liking, and subscribe if you're new on our channel. Thank you for tuning in. I remain Naila Barbara. Legal Vlog is the way to go.